game stream um, Doom tonight, the Modifius version, which, despite what some people may tell you, is a completely awesome game. And there is a free PDF downloadable rule book that gives you all of the basic rules, so you can check it out, if you want. Um, a lot of people like to put Dune in the genre of sci-fi, but I honestly think that in a lot of ways it's more like the genre should be like I don't know, feudal, um, conspiratorial, whatever, like, because the fact that there's starships and you can go to other planets, blah blah blah, and do, like, if you're playing Frontier Space, which is kind of like, basically Star Frontiers, or you're playing Traveler, um, the fact that you can have a starship and go to other planets and stuff is almost like the main point of everything. You're like, look at me. I've got a starship and I've got a laser pistol and I can, I live in the far future, yay, and I eat protein bars and blah blah blah, right? So those are games where the science fiction is front and center, because the interaction between players and the technology and how they use the technology to do whatever they're going to do is super important, right? And then you get to Doom, where you have a government system and people shanking each other in dark alleys with poison daggers. And I don't know about you guys, but that's not what I would consider like sci-fi. You know, I eat ribs, maybe. So yeah, so that's the thing. Like Hungar was saying the other night, how he doesn't generally like sci-fi games, but he seems to be getting along just fine in the Doom game. And who knows? Maybe he hates it and he's just like putting up with it for my sake, or perhaps
Not enough laser swords. Needs more laser
um,
swords.
there is a kind of sword that's like, it's not a laser sword; it's called a shock sword, and it uses the Holzman principle to actually disrupt thinking machines, the circuitry of thinking machines, if you hit them with it. And they're very rare because they date back to the Butlerian Jihad, and and especially on Dune, if you're in the deep desert and you activate that shock sword, it's basically about the same thing as turning a personal shield on. You know what I mean? It's like every worm within 100 kilometers is just beeline in your ass. So they're cool weapons, and you might be given one as an honor, or it could be passed down from one generation to the next within a family. But you probably, yeah, you don't want to use it too much. Um, on Arrakis, anywhere else, go nuts. Like the Sardaukar, almost every single Sardaukar is armed with a laser rifle. But on Arrakis, they can't use their laser rifles. So they either carry drill shots or dart pistols, and which are called Mala pistols, and then melee weapons. Because of the whole thing, you shoot the wrong guy with that laser rifle, and boom, everyone dies. Not good. So anyway, so I got the bases painted. on the starships I painted the other day, I decided to do them in a gloss black. And then I'll probably, when it's all said and done, let me see if I can get this to look at them. Come on here. It's like I want to look at everything but what you're doing. So you can see how their little hex spaces are all black, and I might take a paint pen and write a number on the back just so we can figure out, which one's what. And then right here in my hand, I am putting a base color on Mr. Fisk, who apparently is like a major villain for Daredevil and Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think he started out more for Daredevil, but in the cartoons they definitely used him as a villain.
Yeah, Kingpin.
Yep.
Yeah, I love what's his name, D'Onofrio. His depiction of the Kingpin was.
Which one was that one?
That was in like the original Daredevil series.
Ah.
I've heard that since then it got sucky and, you don't want to watch it or whatever. But, man, when he very first appeared on the scene, plus D'Onofrio is just such a good actor,
Who was the voice of Fisk in the Spider-Man cartoon?
Look it up. You got a computer.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking about doing.
But, yeah, like D'Onofrio, I eat ribs. Hungar, you're an ass. You show up for 5 minutes to my live streams, say hello, and then like go do other stuff. The disloyalty being shown here is like one of the best Marvel bad guys. I agree with you, BRC, which, like I said, is why he's getting painted up. The main color on him is going to be his golden walking stick and his shirt, which I might do. I might do the shirt in a white and then do the tie cornflower blue, which of course is a reference to Fight Club.
Okay, he was voiced by Roscoe Lee Brown.
Yep. Another one of my favorite D'Onofrio roles was he played Gomer Pyle in Full Metal Jacket. The one that just couldn't cut it until the end. When he shot the drill sergeant. Yeah. That was a young D'Onofrio. And he was on one of those SUV or S whatever shows for a long time. And then he ended up as the Kingpin. But that dude's been on a lot of good shows, though. But yeah, I was watching Double D. He painted a giant Black Widow spider. My wife is in the kitchen right now making her famous meatloaf. It's going to be a meatloaf night for us, and the guests. So
we're having baked spaghetti.
I like baked spaghetti.
Wow.
My wife makes this like strange kind of meatloaf where instead of being like all ketchup-y, it's more like creamy and mushroomy. Yeah, that's what I was saying, BRC. D'Onofrio's take on Kingpin was like the highlight of that entire series, Like, he did such a good job depicting the Kingpin as like a very complex character, It's like on the one hand, hey, what's up, Grandma? He's doing all kinds of bad shit. On the other hand, he loves that woman, and he's like living that double life. I mean, yeah, D'Onofrio made Kingpin seem like a real person. And yeah, don't you love when you accidentally amass, a whole army? It can happen pretty quick if you don't pay attention. It's just like, one more pack of these Reaper skeletons. I mean, who's to know any better, right? Next thing you know, you've got like 110 Reaper skeletons. Yeah, that is an undead horde. Actually, that's what that is. That's See me, I got a guy that lives up on the north side of Orlando that's trying to set up a date to come buy the unopened box of Indominus that I own. So he's going to give me about $250 for that. $250. And then I'm going to go out in the garage and start gathering up more of my 40K stuff that I don't want anymore and get rid of all of that. The only thing I'm having a hard time on, honestly, because like all the Primaris Marines, I'm like, yeah, F that shit. I've given some of those away. I've sold some of them, whatever. But I have a lot of the old school metal Imperial Guard. And when I say a lot, I mean at least 100 of each. And I just really am having a hard time wanting to part with them. Like I have a whole army of Armageddon Steel Legion. I've got a whole army of Mordian Iron Guard. I've got a whole army of frickin' Catachan Jungle Fighters. I've got a whole army of Death Corps of Krieg, like 120 infantrymen. And I've got another army. See, Hungar probably knows. And those are the ones that are giving me the problems. Because it's like, oh man, I don't want to get rid of these. You know, I've had them for, well, the Death Corps of Krieg is new, but I've had that Steel Legion army since 20 plus years. You know what I mean? Since they were released originally. You know, the Steel Legion, and everybody got mad because they said they looked like Afrika Korps Nazis or something. And I told them all to kiss my scrotum. And I played them anyway. Because that's how you got to do. 51 guys, that's a good start. As a matter of fact, if you and your husband ever want to play a good skirmish type game or a rank and flank game that's really good, pick up Oathmark, because you can basically use every miniature you own that's fantasy in an Oathmark game. I'm not allowed to get rid of them. Ugh. And if you want to play like a smaller game, just buy Frostguard, I think it's called. And you only need 10 figures. So you can pick like one of your undead guys to be like the Necromancer, and another one to be like the apprentice to the Necromancer. And then the rest of them, it just depends on how they're armed. That is the power of that game. Like when Hungar was down here and we were playing that game, he had kobolds and halflings, and I mean, you name it. Anything you can imagine in a fantasy game, he had in his warband. You know, because if you need a thief in your party, well, a thief is somebody not wearing heavy armor with a dagger. So you just find a kobold with a dagger, and guess what? Thief. The guy who made that game, he made like Silver Bayonet and various other games. He was really cool about making it miniatures agnostic to the point that you can literally use any figures to play the game. And the game is really good. That's the other thing about the game that I definitely got to mention too. It's good, you know? And Frostgrave actually plays better when you have like 3 or 4 players. Because, then it becomes like a free for all, or you can ally up on, with each other. And also during the course of the game, NPC monsters randomly appear and you might get slaughtered by them. I mean,
the best part of that game is you can have anything in your army and your gang. So, like, if you want to run like a real adventuring party gang, you can do that.
Well, yeah, like my war band was led by Thurgist, which is basically a cleric. And I had, eventually I had like some warriors that had shields and swords and were wearing armor. And, and then I had like a crossbowman, And even though I bought a lot of the actual Frostgrave miniature box sets, the reality is there was no need to do that. I already had miniatures that could have easily been anything,
I've always
pretty much everything for Oathmark and Frostgrave I ever bought was a waste.
I've always been a big fan of miniature agnostic games. Use what you got.
But yeah, I can say that anything I ever bought for Frostgrave or Oathmark was a waste of time, because I already had miniatures that would easily have been fit in. Hey, you're painting again, man?
Yeah. I showed these on stream. These things they stuck out like a sore thumb. So I am going to redo these.
Are they like some kind of 3D print thing or
Dwarven Forge? Like I got the building set pre-painted, and everything else I did, like I painted myself using his formula. So these things that were like pre-painted by some 10-year-old in China, they stick out like a sore thumb now. So I'm just gonna bite the bullet and admit I made a mistake buying them painted, and I don't know, slowly repaint them.
So I
like your spider you was painting.
I made Mrs. Hungar a little upset with me yesterday, brother.
Who?
Miss Hungar, the wife.
Oh, well, I don't even know why. I don't even know if I want to.
She asked me if I missed her. I was like, no, I miss Sanguinius. And she's like, what?
Damn. Strange, too, because you're repping my crew.
Well, everybody misses Sanguinius. Just because I'm a Dark Angel don't mean that I don't love Sanguinius. The only person Lionel Johnson actually really likes is Sanguinius.
Lionel Johnson don't even like
exactly,
himself.
but he loves Sanguinius.
Well, they all did, didn't they? That's why he had to die. It's basic storytelling. You know what I mean? You build up someone. Even Tolkien kind of messed with that with Boromir. Like just about the time you're starting to like Boromir F's up and gets killed. But he does it in such a heroic way that you're like, damn.
Yep.
Sucked. I mean,
he's a good character.
He was. I mean, you know why I liked Boromir Double D? Because when I do play D&D, which is rare than hen's teeth, I generally play human fighter. Nothing special. I'm a human fighter. I've got a shield, an axe, like a hand axe, a sword, maybe. I carry three or four different hand weapons, a mace, maybe. Because what if I run into skeletons, right? Gotta have a mace, right? And even if I'm playing my character lawful good, like he'd be a paladin, he's still going to be a fighter.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be a paladin. I want to be a fighter, right? So Boromir, I think, is the archetype that made me the way I am as far as, the kind of characters.
But we got to admit, if we're talking Lord of the Rings, Samwise was the best character.
Well, I mean, Samwise obviously was the true hero of the whole story,
He
but
was just a normal dude. Everybody
I
else,
mean, we don't.
he was a gardener. Okay, he was like your Mexican dude that
He
mows
was the
your- everybody else.
uneducated gardener. He
Everybody else,
represented your typical redneck.
everybody else is just like actually somebody in society. And so I was like, yeah, I pick taters.
Well, no, I mean Pippin and Mary. I mean, other than their relations, because they're related to the Tooks, they really weren't. You know, I mean, whereas Frodo, not only was he related to the Tooks, but his mom and dad were rich and adventurers and done crazy shit, and then drowned themselves
Yeah,
in the brandy bog. And so, I mean, Frodo was wealthy. That's the thing some people don't understand when they read like Lord of the Rings. Frodo was super rich, and Sam was super
yeah.
poor. You know, I mean, but they hung out.
Frodo had his parents' money plus Bilbo's money.
And Bilbo had all that 2 sacks of gold he brought back from the Lonely Mountain.
Plus what was in the troll cave.
I'm surprised.
Yeah,
I'm surprised the lefties haven't said like Frodo was a nepo baby. Ah.
The left,
I'm sure out there somewhere someone has said it, or now that we've said what we've said, they will say it.
the lefties can have the token
Because
because shut the hell up.
Right,
Hell yeah.
I agree with that statement. Just tell them to shut the hell up. No one cares.
I stayed up really late last night studying other cultures, just so when they called me the no German, I could like do it with more knowledge. You know, if they're going to call me a racist, I'm going to at least know more about the cultures I'm racist against.
I took the How Racist Am I test, and I come up 50%.
Yeah,
That's probably where I'd be.
slack.
Which, and it specified that I'm more a political racist. So apparently, I don't mind minorities unless it becomes a political thing, and at which case, I mind them a whole lot. Hungar, do you recognize this guy so far?
I can't really see him that well.
Look in his hand. What's he got in his right hand?
He's got a big gun and hook. That's Lobo.
That's Lobo, man.
Oh wow.
I noticed by the knee pads, the skull knee pads.
And he's got the chains wrapped around the leather jacket, and he's got that big meat hook that he always carries.
Rogan would
Yeah.
love that.
I Double D, for some reason, even though I've never read a superhero comic probably in my life. Yes, my love.
Tell your brother I said hello.
Hungar, the wife, says hello.
And I'm sorry about the meatloaf.
And she's
Hello,
making her
monster.
special meatloaf with mashed potatoes and veggies, and she's sorry you can't be here to have it.
Well, I've got a bunch of leftover ribs, some smoked sausage, and some steaks left over from last night.
You'll make do, right?
Yeah, I make do. Plus, I had some.
Hobbits are 100%.
Szechuan.
I mean, I have the One Ring game, and there's a whole. They go into the Shire like every freaking inch of it, and 99% of the hobbits would be like freaking Amish farmers or rednecks or something like that.
Appalachian Americans.
They generally don't like visitors. They generally try to keep to themselves, but they're always gossiping, and they work out in the fields all day. You know, that's what they do. That's just what they do. They're farmers, and somebody super smart might say they're supposed to represent the British, you know, like not peasant class, but you know, the average British farmer. But I don't try to get super deep into what Tolkien was thinking when he wrote the books. You know, I like to just take him on his word, you know,
Yeah.
because some of these people, this is where you end up with orcs equal black guys. It's like Tolkien never said that. As a matter of
Nobody.
fact, orcs in Tolkien can range in skin color from like albino white all the way to black. any skin color an orc
You
can
saw,
be.
you saw the pink orcs and stuff and Tolkien and Lord of the Rings. And the only people who ever identified orcs as being black were leftists.
Well, I mean, there for a while, it's kind of slowed down now, but there was like a whole cottage industry based around just disrespecting Tolkien and everything he ever did.
It's all commie propaganda.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, they had their little club that was supposedly devoted to like loving Tolkien, except all the club did is talk shit about Tolkien, you know, like what a colonist and racist and blah, blah, blah he was. And it's like, this doesn't seem like a club based around being a fan of anybody. I mean, all you do is talk shit.
Did you
But-
guys ever hear the story of the in the Return of the King, they kind of had to have like a villain orc, and there was that one that was like kind of lighter skin and like kind of misshapen.
Yeah,
Do you know who he was based on? Like almost exactly.
I do.
Go ahead.
But I'll let you say.
Well, if anybody else does not know, they based that off of Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, Peter Jackson was.
Well, no,
not
because
there.
he screwed him over. Like he had the original rights, and they ended up having to like buy him out of those rights, but he still like got to maintain. Like he still got to wet his beak a little bit. So he basically got a lot of money for doing nothing for that whole series. So they hated him. They hated him so much they immortalized him as one of the orcs.
Yeah, but maybe because Weinstein was involved, that's why they didn't have a bunch of uggos.
They
Say
did
what
have the
you
one
will.
female orc that was wearing like a skull on top of her head.
Yeah, say what you will, though. When Weinstein was in charge of like producing movies,
They were good.
you had more Sydney Sweeney's than Zendaya's.
Yes, because he wanted to sleep with him.
Yeah.
I only see my ghost. I don't.
See, I'm not going to get into that. I've been told recently by my wife that
You're wrong.
I've been obsessing over Dune. And I need
No.
to calm down.
Hey, I've rebuilt my base.
Well, hopefully you build it better than, it looks. I mean, you see my base, right? How beautiful it is. And then your base looks like a hobo camp.
Well,
It's
mine's
like
still
I'm
just a
kinda
big
sad I
square.
invited you to build a base near me.
It's still a
I'm pretty
square. It's
sure-
just much bigger.
I'm pretty sure the profit values in that region have went way down since you moved in.
Yeah, mine looks like a big trailer.
Yeah. You're not doing your best, and if you don't do your best, the Lord Baron will have you dealt with.
The only Lord I worry about is the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Which, oddly enough, would be a fair answer in Dune.
I know.
Since Christianity does actually exist in Dune. It's just a really minor religion compared to the Orange Catholic Bible, the Orange Catholic Church. But hell, in Chapter House, they add the Jews back. It turns out that the Jews have been hiding, like throughout the universe, like maintaining their religion but keeping it on the down low, so no one would oppress them and shit like that. Because, I mean, one of the Bene Gesserit women has to go talk to a rabbi about some shit. So this finally came in today because the other day I was a numbskull and I ordered the Spider-Verse version instead of the core rulebook version.
You nerd.
I don't know if I will ever run this game, but I'll tell you what, I love to look through at the characters and see how they're ranked.
What game was that, James?
It's the Marvel superhero
Oh, okay.
game. Like characters can be ranked 1 to 6. 6 is like you're a badass. You know what I mean? So like Luke Cage is a rank 3 superhero, mainly because he's got Mighty 2 and Sturdy 3. So he's super strong and very hard to kill, right? Magneto's rank 6. Which means he can actually, F with shit on like a cosmic level. A lot of these people, though, I don't recognize. Like, I don't know who Kamala Khan is.
Or do I?
And I don't know why she's got like a Muslim and a fat blue-haired chick standing behind her, like giving the power.
Those are her stable, I guess, of hoes.
Yeah, I'm not sure what in the hell she's supposed to be, but she's weak as hell, so who cares? Mystique is only ranked 3. She's not as badass as you think.
My phone's getting ready to die, so I'm gonna have to bounce.
You have a computer.
Yeah, but I don't feel like setting my computer up. I've already put it up after playing on it today.
See you,
And I'm
Hunger.
going to get it out later. Well, you guys have a good one.
Hey, Hunger.
You too, buddy.
Plus, it's getting close to nap time before a game tonight.
Yeah. I mean, Deadpool's rank 4. And his big thing is he's got a really good damage reduction and healing factor, which is pretty good. But as me and Leth and I set up one night kind of late, just looking at all the superheroes and comparing them, Blade is actually better than Deadpool. Like when you compare stats up and shit.
Oh, really?
And powers. Yeah, Blade, the Daywalker, he's in this book, and he might be able to kill Deadpool in a fight. Yeah, some folks overanalyze everything. It's usually me. But when it comes to like just straight fantasy, I just take it for what it is, I'm not trying to overanalyze stuff. The only fantasy I've ever really overanalyzed is probably Game of Thrones. And it's basically because I've grown to kind of despise R.R. Martin.
You ain't the only one.
So
I had an email exchange with him back in 2005. Back when he was getting big, but he wasn't like so big that he wouldn't answer like some fans' email. At the time, I was like, he was of course like spurting out about like Iraq and like George Bush and all that stuff. I'm like, I basically just said, dude, why are you doing this? Like, like nobody needs to know this. And we got into it a little bit. Ended up being he was very respectful. He basically had said like, look, if you vote for George W. Bush, you hate gay people, you hate black people. And I'm like, that's just patently not true, dude. I'm like, you got to stop that. And
so there's Blade.
Oh yeah,
I have to paint his.
nice.
Yeah, he's got his vampire sticker strapped to one leg. I probably should do the buckles on him metallic because on his chest.
Mhm.
Because he did wear some body armor.
Yeah.
And he's got those buckles there. Blade. Blade's one of my favorite heroes. And I remember about losing my mind when Wakanda came out. And all these idiots were going off on finally a black superhero.
Yeah.
And it was like, Blade came out like 25 years ago, right? I mean, he's got 3 movies, assholes. I mean, what are you
There's
thinking
plenty
about
of
here,
cool black superheroes.
Yeah, but they were arguing that none of them were made into like
Of
the hero of their own Marvel movie. They were always sidekicks, right? And Black Panther was going to change all that, right? But they completely forgot about Blade, who was running around killing vampires in Russia or Czechoslovakia or some shit 20 years prior. Ryan Reynolds was his buddy for a little while.
Yeah.
And also those weird vampires with the mouths that open up like freaking insects and shit. That was some creepy shit. So, Triple H was in it and he had a Pomeranian.
That's true.
That's a true story. Yeah. Triple H was in that damn movie with this Pomeranian who was a vampire. I mean, so that was what I said when I used to hang out at the comic shop all the time and people were going nuts for Wakanda. I was like, Blade? No, we're not doing Blade anymore. Wesley Snipes don't exist. I mean, dude did some tax shit and went to prison, so we're just going to, pretend like he never existed or something. Like, that seems a little bit
That's not
whatever.
cool.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
here's the thing, RPG Grandma. According to the stats in this core book, Blade would whip T'Challa's ass.
yeah.
Suit or not, Blade would eat him alive. Because T'Challa is just not going to beat Blade.
Hey, James, I got to bounce. Mrs. D's home, so.
I'll see you,
Well,
Double D.
you do
Yep.
that. Thank you for dropping
Yeah,
in,
no problem.
though,
See you,
homie.
Litholdus. See you, Chet. Everybody have a great night. We'll talk soon. All right, buddy.
Yeah,
Ugh.
bye. Yeah, it's like, anyway. So I just made people feel like idiots, basically, for
I'm
no
pretty sure
reason.
Cyborg could destroy T'Challa.
Yeah, maybe.
Part robot, man. Part
I
robot.
mean, maybe so. Yeah, Cyborg was pretty, badass. But that's not
I know.
Marvel, but still.
Look.
But if we're talking Marvel, I mean, it's not even fair. There's so many characters that are like. What really surprised me is when I got to the Peter Quill entry.
Really?
Peter Quill is a rank 5 superhero.
Hmm.
Yeah, that means that dude is about of a power level where he could go one-on-one with Magneto or one of the big villains, like just by himself. And I'm sitting here like thinking about Guardians of the Galaxy, him kind of stomping around a cave, kicking alien rats around, right?
Maybe in the comic he's, done more impressive
But
stuff.
apparently Star-Lord is a badass.
Again,
Like his dad was some ultra powerful
I'll just say this:
alien
a lot of times in the comics, they give them they're way too overpowered. They get nerfed in the movies and TV shows and cartoons.
Yeah. Well, in this book, Star-Lord's a badass. So, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. I mean, like if you look at the stats in the book, Star-Lord would have easily been able to beat the shit out of Ronan.
Yeah.
If he'd actually like wanted to. You know what I mean? If Star-Lord had actually just turned around and started going ham on Ronan, according to the stats Marvel gave us, and that is where all the stats come from, Marvel, Star-Lord would have whipped his ass. And that would have been the end of Ronan the Accuser. So here we have me working on Lobo's skin. See if I can get it to focus in. I'll do that by getting my shakes under control. Now I'm going to have to neaten up the hair. Are you going to focus in or what? What are you doing? Nope. It's like, no, I don't want to focus. It's like, my whole existence is to be your bane. Right? That's what it's saying. It's like, I exist to be the bane of your existence. I am the camera that will not do what you demand. Okay, let's see if this will work. Are you
Put
kidding
from
me?
behind it, maybe then it'll focus.
Yeah, because it's focusing on the freaking Star Frontier starship.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Focus on everything but except what I want you to focus on. Why don't you? As Lobo would say, you bastard. Let's pull him back.
There
a
you
little.
go.
There we go. Yeah, Lobo has like albino white
I know.
skin,
I've seen no Lobo.
except he's got like a black thing around his
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah. I was wondering if you were gonna paint that on there, if that was just
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah,
the main man.
the main man. Well, he would, if we're talking, you and I already talked about this. So for the rest of you out there in whatever, if you have opinions about superheroes or whatever, you can share them. But I am thinking Lobo would be at least a power level 4 or 5 superhero, at least. Just based on the fact that he can't die and he punched Superman like a block. I mean, Superman whipped his ass because, I mean, you know, Superman, but still, Lobo's really strong and he can't die. And he's always got guns that he's just pulling out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's got to be an ability, you know, just the ability to magically pull a freaking giant ass gun out of nowhere. But overall, he's not going to be very difficult to paint for me because the black will get a gray dry brush. The white will probably get a white wash. And then I'll do his mustache and beard and his face thing with a really small brush and neaten up some places where the paints interface. And then he'll be pretty much ready to go, you know. The main man out there riding around doing bounty hunter shit. I mean, Fisk is done except for the skin. And of course, this guy's done except for his base, which I need to paint Boss Salt gray. I usually these superheroes, I paint their base like sidewalk or concrete gray. Oh, see, you're right. There should be something behind him because when I had something like there, it was like, boom, there he is. Yeah, there's Lobo with the mustache and everything, the sideburn, and his sunglasses. I remember I actually watched that cartoon.
Superman the animated series?
I guess it was, but Lobo, the main man, came down and like hooked Superman and drug him through town.
Yep.
They got in a big fight, and eventually Superman got tired of that.
Oh
shit
yeah.
and put a beating on him. And then they teamed up to go after whoever they were going after. So the only thing that this guy needs is I need to get into my last drop of non oil. Don't worry about, guys. I've ordered.
I like in the Justice League, Lobo thought he was friends with Superman and decided to take his place on the Justice League. Whenever he disappeared.
Well, that's kind of the wild thing about Lobo. It's like if he's trying to be antisocial, he is not good at it. Because he always ends up surrounded by like friends, you know, people who like him. And it's like, how can you like this guy? He's foul-mouthed, crass. He committed genocide on his own race. It's like he is not a good
He kind
guy.
of committed genocide on his own race, just so he's the last one alive.
Just so he could be the only one left, right? He's went to war with Santa Claus, God, and Satan. And of the bunch of them, Santa Claus gave him the hardest problem. And because, you know, Santa Claus had all those elves with machine guns and shit. But anyway, I mean, he is literally a bad guy. But he cracks jokes and shit all the time. So people put up with him. You know, it's like he's just a weird character. The fact that he had a doctor implant a thing in his head so that he's constantly got death metal blaring in his brain. Kind of like what Elon Musk wanted to put in people's heads.
No thanks on that.
Well, Lobo was talking about that shit 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Because that is the thing. Lobo there's a radio station somewhere in the universe that does nothing but play like death metal. And Lobo had a doctor put a thing in his head so that he was his brain was constantly hearing whatever the death metal was saying. You know. So that's his whole thing. He's, you know. So this guy's got his bass. I mean, Blade is a Marvel hero, so he, you know, he gets to, you know, be a contender. Lobo, unfortunately, DC, but I don't know if somebody wanted to play a superhero game and they wanted to like try to create Lobo using the Marvel rules. Yeah, it's Spanish or Latin for wolf, right?
Well, here's the thing. Maybe someday DC and Marvel will team up again and make a book about
Yeah,
it.
that'd be cool, right?
Because, I mean, technically they did team up before and have their characters interact with each other before in a comic.
You know who that is, right?
Colossus.
It is. I went with the Deadpool uniform.
Hmm.
What he is wearing in
Okay.
Deadpool. Lupus is wolf in Latin. Ah, cool. Well, I appreciate you educating me on these things, my brother. I have to admit, I do not speak Latin very much.
Vini Vidi Vici.
Yeah, like the basic shit, like Palladius Mors, which means spell death.
Oh, I learned what Bucellari meant. It's Latin for bread eater.
Which the Romans were big time into their bread. let
Yeah,
me
but
tell
they
you.
called them that because that's what they would eat whenever they were, you know, doing their bodyguard work or mercenary work.
Yeah, there's actually a historically chronicled event where a Roman legion ran out of flour. So they couldn't make bread. I mean, they had food. They had all kinds of food, but they couldn't make bread.
Apparently, Batman,
And the legion freaked the F
Batman
out.
and
They were just like,
Batman and Deadpool #1 is about to drop.
Batman and
Yeah.
Deadpool? I mean, I like Batman, but you know what the problem with that
What?
is? Batman can be killed
Yeah.
really easy.
Well,
Deadpool cannot be killed. Like, even if you dismember that bastard, the parts will try to go back together.
even if you destroy one of the limbs too, they'll just regrow.
Right. Or regenerate. Yeah. In the Deadpool video game, he gets beheaded, and you spend like a whole part of the video game just wandering around trying to find his head. And the body's really clumsy because,
Yeah.
you know, it don't have a head. So how you doing, William? We're just doing a little pre-Dune RPGing. I got a Dune game around 7. Lots of stuff going on tonight. I'm not going to talk about it because
I'm super nervous about tomorrow.
You know, there's ears around here, so I don't need people hearing things.
You know that, James? Tomorrow's I'm very nervous about.
Okay, tell me about.
Well, most of our team, or, well, pretty much all our team is now either feared or unconscious. Although through spells from a spectator. So,
a spectator or
a
specter?
spectator.
What in the hell is
I
a
don't know. I
spectator?
think is it Spectre? I don't. It's the multi-eyed thing. That's not a.
Oh, so like a
Yeah.
beholder, but they're calling it something
It's
different.
a
because
lesser
they don't
version
want
of a
to get-
beholder or something like that.
Yeah, because they don't want to get sued by Wizards Coast because beholder is one of the very few monsters in a monster manual that they have copyright.
I guess.
claim on.
I always thought that was also a part of D&D too, because I remember them being either a good or lesser version of, not good, but A lesser version of it.
I don't know. In OSC, they have them, but they call them something totally different too. They're like floating eye monster.
Anyway,
You know,
that
it's like
thing's
what?
probably going to start coup de
Anyway.
grace a lot of people, and we do have a chance of surviving, but
He may not.
we might not.
Thing with the thing with beholder type creatures like that is they're generally huge fans of slaves.
Well, this one's definitely out to kill us. It's already killed one person, the NPC.
I mean, if it knocks you all unconscious, it might just keep you around.
It's calling us intruders
And force
and,
you
and a whole
to-
bunch of other things.
Hey, I'm just saying what might happen, dude. Easy. What level are you?
I'm level 3. The rest of the party are, I think, around 4 or something. It got really lucky, and we got pretty unlucky on certain things. I was especially unlucky that time because I tried to attack it twice and missed, and yeah, it didn't go well.
Well, I mean, you don't know, do you? Its armor class, right? I mean, and is Bubba using Thaco or is he using?
Thaco. We do kind of know what it is.
Okay.
I couldn't hit above it.
Yeah, that happens, man. That's the problem with dice, right? Sometimes the dice are not going to be your friend no matter what, and you just don't have to learn to live with it, you know.
We did take out I think the eye that does the damage at least.
So BRC, you're saying there's going to be a Constantine and Doctor Strange team up? I don't know, that I would like that. Hellraiser, isn't that what Constantine was originally called? Hellraiser? And Doctor Strange, I could see that. Even though the power levels are way off, because Doctor Strange, as the Sorcerer Supreme, is like a power level 6 character, which means he's up there with Thanos and shit like that. You know what I mean? Whereas Constantine is like a 3. Other than the magic and shit, there's nothing special about him.
Yeah, he's just a human with magic.
He's just a guy with a long coat that knows some magic. Nightwing, X-23 will be teaming up. If these are not going to be movies, I am not going to be seeing.
Yeah, I think he's talking about comics.
Because I don't read superhero comics because they're gay. Reading superhero comics is lame. Lame and gay. But watching superhero cartoons, that's okay.
Sounds like a little bit of a double standard.
No, I don't think there's any standard there at all.
Okay.
Right? There's exactly no standard.
Gay.
I'm just
Watching
talking
kids' cartoons? Okay. Well, some of them might not be for kids, actually, but...
Yeah. Say Berserk is a kid's cartoon. It's like, only if you want to traumatize your children to the point that, they don't know what to do with themselves. At that point, I guess you could say Berserk is a children's cartoon. But that's why I always tell everyone, though, when I'm doing these talks about superheroes and shit, that everything I know about superheroes come from watching like X-Men 97, Justice League, Batman, stuff like that, Superman. I have not read any of the comics, and I never intend to, because growing up, and I've said this a million times, and I'll say it another time, the only comics I bought were Poison Elves and Conan Savage Sword.
Shonen Jump for me.
Yeah, see, I was, dude,
Well,
before
I was young. Well,
I was well in my 30s or 40s before I gave anime the respect it actually
fair.
deserved.
I was just a nerdy kid who liked Shonen
I
Jump.
think late 30s, and I think when I realized that anime is not horrible, I was sitting up late night watching like Toonami or some shit
Toonami.
because it was the only thing on.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Yu Yu
remember? And
Hakusho, Inuyasha. Well, no, wait,
but out of the blue, they randomly
that was Adult
played
Swim, really.
Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy
Bebop
Bebop, yeah, that was a Toonami.
on Toonami. And I remember I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden you hear the dun 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 dun.
The later part of it, I
So
think, again,
everybody
because
put
that
this
one
stuff
was a bit
together.
too much for little kids. But
Yeah. This is the one with the robot that was always like putting on shows.
Yeah.
Like, so when I
remember Outlaw Star.
when I saw that, I was like, you know, maybe these animes are not as
Rurouni
lame
Kenshin was one of them too.
as I thought they were. And then the next anime I watched, which I enjoyed the first couple seasons of, and then I just got tired of it, was the one where the dude's always trying to get the hollowed or whatever they're called.
Get the what?
Hollowed?
Oh,
They're like ghosts.
you're talking about Bleach, I think.
Yeah, Shonen Jump
Ah.
Bleach.
Yeah, they were going after like the I forgot how they call it.
Okay, BRC.
Yeah, I guess hollows were what they were called. Yeah.
I think, yeah, because remember when he encountered them, they'd always have like a big
Yeah.
hole through them. Because whatever, the soul or whatever was not there or something. It's a little creepy that the dad in the show was constantly trying to catch his own daughters naked.
That was weird, yes.
But hey, it's Japan, so
Japan,
you know,
man.
those dudes, they're into some weird shit over there. But then again, when I watched what was the name of the show? Ichiban Wants to Hang Out or some shit.
Oh, are you talking about that one with the big boobed one?
Yeah, it's she's a college girl.
Yuzaki-chan, I think it was.
And she's got giant
I think it was
tits,
Yuzaki-chan
and she's
Wants to
always
Hang
wearing a shirt, whatever it is, and the shirt in Japanese says huge or some shit on it. And like her mom is super trying to hook up with the boy that she's interested in. It's like, what is going on here, right? And of course, the girl that works at the tea shop is some kind of like degenerate, like sexually.
Yeah.
And the girl with the big boobs is actually the best of the bunch of them, really. She's the only one not being a degenerate. She can't help it that she's got giant boobs. I mean, you know. So, yep, on somebody's somebody told me I had to watch it. So I did. And you know what?
My favorite version of
I don't care what
I think my favorite version of that type of show though was Tomo-chan as a girl.
That
well, it's about a tomboy who does all the athletic stuff, and she tries to get with her best friend who also is an athletic kind of guy, but a little bit more nerdy. And she's just trying to do all these girly things for him, so he'll see her in that way, and it just doesn't work out. Kind of funny. Also, her friends are kind of weird. One is like a gloomy girl, and then the other one was like a cheerful Swedish girl.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that?
I don't know any of them.
You don't know Either of them? Well, I mean, this is Ronan the
Oh.
Accuser. The one that Peter Quill had to deal with. And then this guy right here, this is the Lord of the Wastelands, the Ayatollah of rock and roll.
I still don't know him.
Humongous. Have you never seen or Mad Max 2 Road
No, I
Warrior?
haven't.
Well, then never mind. Because if you've never seen that, I can't help you.
I know of Mad Max. I just never watched any of them.
How? How is that possible, Leth? You are a young, red-blooded American. How have you never watched?
Like, I've seen clips of them, but I never watched them. Like, truly.
Yeah, well, I guess you spend too much time on computer or something. Take a break. Watch Road Warrior. It's awesome. It's like Mel Brooks or Mel Gibson when he's like 19 or 20. As a matter of fact, in the movie Weird Science, the weirdos that show up at the party that the one dude ends up pulling a pistol on, is the same guy from Road Warrior.
Well, James,
Okay.
I guess you could say you definitely want me to get beyond Thunderdome.
Well, Beyond Thunderdome was a good movie. I mean, it didn't kind of know what it wanted to do. It's like Double D was right. The problem with Beyond Thunderdome is they were not positive at all with what in the hell they were even trying to do. So they made two movies instead of, one really good movie. You haven't seen Road Warrior? Man, what is going on with you guys? I thought I had a higher class of friends over here. But anyway, we'll see if I get a strike for this. I might, but I don't care. Okay, let me turn the volume up too.
The Lord Humongous, the warrior of the wasteland, the Ayatollah of rock and roller.
Roller. Look at this
I
bastard.
am gravely disappointed. Again, you have made me unleash my dogs of war. Look at what remains of your gallant scouts. Why? Because you're selfish. You hoard your gasoline. You will not listen to reason. Now, my prisoners say, you plan to take your gasoline out of the wasteland. You send them out this morning to find a vehicle. A rig big enough to hold that fat tank of gas. What a puny plan. Look around you. This is the value of death.
Dad. That's dad.
The
For dad.
Humongous rules the wasteland. Give them nothing. Blow it up. Give them nothing.
Humongous will not be defeated.
Uh-oh. Not bad. Yeah, you heard that right.
I got it. I got it.
Feral kid.
Oh boy.
Quiet! No more games. No more games.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's it. And Mel Gibson is in it, and he says about 12 words in the whole movie. It's like that, you know what I mean? It's like first he's wandering around the desert in his V8 Interceptor with his mutt dog, which he doesn't talk to very much, and then he meets another guy who he don't talk to very much, and then he gets captured by the people who are pumping gas, and you don't talk to them very much. And that's pretty much the movie. Mel Gibson hanging out, but not really talking to anybody very much.
Yeah, I mean, they've referenced him in a lot of things from that. When I know that references that much.
Which is kind of what made the movie so good, is because Miller, when he made that movie, it was 100% a show don't tell movie.
But
You know
I
what
was
mean?
saying that they do reference the, Mel Gibson's character in like Fallout or something else like that.
Of course they do. But I'll tell you what, Fallout was actually, yep, he was the bad guy in Commando as well, Coco. You're right. And he is the bad guy in Weird Science. And the guy puts the 44 automatic or the 44 Magnum to his face. And then they all start leaving. And like the one lady riding on the back of one of the Road Warrior type savages, she's like, "You have a really beautiful home," before they leave and shit. It's like they get real polite when the dude pulls that big freaking 44 out. And all of a sudden they're like, yeah. I like that you put that Lobo thing up there. I appreciate that. It helps me kind of see what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Right now, since I've got the camera the way I do, so that you can actually see figures, I'm painting in somewhat of a decent way instead of just having to look at my trollish face. I have just put on the Templar white wash, and we will let that dry. And then once that dries, I will actually, instead of dry brushing the white, I'll actually use a small brush and titanium white and go in and specifically paint the bulges of the muscles, because I want more control over it than, And then, as you can see, I got to put his mustache on, and I got to paint his eyes red because, he's a Zarnian. And if I were running Marvel Comics and somebody like the role-playing game that I got, and somebody said they really wanted to play Lobo, I would say, well, use the rules, make him, and then let me see what you come up with. And if it looks like him, then we're good to go, right? I mean, why not? And then if they were like, well, what level hero would he be? That is where I'm torn, guys. And those of you out there who are comic book guys, would Lobo be a rank 4 out of 6 or 5 out of 6?
Man, if it was the animated series, I'd say 4. But the comics probably push him up to a 5.
Right.
So it depends on the version, really. If you want to go animated series Lobo, maybe you could get a 4 out of 6.
He's very strong, though. We got to admit
yeah.
that. I mean, like we said, he did slam Superman around a little bit.
What if I wanted to play Cyborg?
Until Superman got tired of his shit, sent him packing.
Yeah, what if I wanted to play Cyborg in your game?
It would be super easy. And I'd be like, do you want to play Cyborg, or how about you just play Cable? Or Bishop?
I
mean, there's already so many Cyborg characters in Marvel. It's like,
I know, but my favorite is Cyborg.
Except, no, you can't play Cable because he's a rank 6 superhero. I mean, that guy, I had no idea Cable was as powerful as he is, but apparently, yeah. He's so I got the Lord Humongous. If we ever play Gamma World, this guy will definitely make an appearance. You know he will. It's like, you have disappointed me. You know. Now, see me, I'm too logical. I've talked about this before. When they showed up and started all their shit, I would have told them, look, you want gas? Trade for it. And they'd been like, what? And I'd been like, trade for it. If you want fuel, trade for it. And then, you know, I would tell them, we need this, we need this, we need this. And we will give you X amount of gallons for these things that we need. And that's just the way it is. And then, yeah, and then they could go their way and come back, and I'd make them stay way back so that they could never get into the camp. And I would make them trade for the fuel. Because why not? I mean, why make it more difficult than it's got to be? Right? You know? It's like, I've got gas, and you've got a bunch of crazy people. I feel like we can work together and get something done. Like, you know? Imagine how much more of a terror there'll be on the wasteland if they know that they can trade shit for like gas. So like fuel is never a problem anymore. You know what I mean? They're just always like, you know, we're going to drag back some cars or whatever. Maybe some I don't know what in the hell they're getting out there, but they're getting it. And then they're trading it. It's like, and yeah, that would be like Thunderdome. You're right. You know, set up a merchant city.
Still can't get beyond Thunderdome, huh?
Well, the last one they made, I don't know what Miller was thinking, because he called it Mad Max Fury Road. It should have been called Furiosa Fury Road. And I probably would have liked it just the same. But I did not like the idea that I had been sold a bill of false goods.
You were expecting Mad Max. This is not Mad Max.
Because I was expecting Mad Max. What I got was what's her name being a badass, which was fine. I mean, I liked Immortan Joe and his weird sons and the women that he had hooked up the milkers and shit. I don't know what that was all about, but whatever.
I feel like somebody's weird fetish is,
but I like the whole
I feel
thing.
like somebody's weird fetish has just gotten into the movie for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was pretty cool, you know. He had the hot chicks that he kept in a vault just for him. Okay. That was cool. One of my favorite scenes in any movie of all time is from that movie.
Huh.
It's when the one war boy gets shot through the face with a dart. And all the other war boys are like, get up, you can do it. You can do it. You know, they're all rooting for him. And all out of the blue, he gets back up and he's got a freaking arrow like through his head. And he just sprays his mouth with the chrome and he's like, witness me. And he dives off the back of the tractor trailer with like 2 explosive tipped spears. I mean, come on. That's just like badassery right there. That's what that is. That is some badass shit. And they should have just stuck with that, you know, and not tried to sell it as a Mad Max. I mean, it could have been a Mad Max movie. I mean, it could have been a Mad Max movie, but what they should have said is set in the Mad Max universe. And then you could have not had Mad Max in the movie at all. You could have had a total new set of characters, you know, out here doing shit. And I would have been, I mean, I still watch that movie sometimes, you know? Yeah, well, the one female actress that they were trying to talk into playing Mad Max or playing 007 said no. 007's got to be a dude. And everybody was like, what? And it's like, yeah, come on. We're English. 007 is kind of the only cool thing about being British. And he's got to be a suave dude, you know? Plus, also a
Too
killer.
bad they haven't had a suave
Like an
dude
absolute
as a
full-blooded
007
killer.
for a few years now.
They wanted to put Idris Elba there, but it's like I think a lot of people just had Idris Elba fatigue because there for a minute they did to him what they are doing with Pablo
Is that
Pasquez, you know,
one, the
or
short?
whatever.
Is
Pedro
that
Pasquez.
one shaved
Yeah,
head
they
guy?
just put him in everything,
I don't like him.
and it's like, dude, just go away, you know. I realized I did not like Pedro Pascal when he took his helmet off in Mandalorian. I was like, I don't like him anymore.
I've
Catch you
seen a
later,
little
Grandma.
bit of like the new 007 movies. I didn't like it. Oop, I gotta go.
Yep.
See ya.
Catch you later then. Well, this is going to be a short one, I think, because I'm going to take a shower and make sure I don't stink when the rest of the gamers show up. Because, you know, I don't want to be the stinky gamer. Might have to do some stuff to help the wife. She's in there working her ass off while I'm sitting in here just talking shit and painting miniatures. I mean, life is not fair, I guess.
I'm making a meatloaf.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, if she ever asked for foot rubs or something, I would 100% do it because she 100% would deserve the foot rubs because, you know, she feeds me and keeps me in order and fills up my drug thing. If it weren't for her, I'm pretty convinced I'd be wandering the streets like with leaves stuck to me and maybe dog poop. I don't know, you know. I'd be living on like a cardboard thing behind a 7-Eleven. That would kind of be me, you know, just kind of being that dude, you know. Just another homeless veteran living on the street under an underpass. But luckily, I've got a wife that looks out for me and makes sure that doesn't happen. Yeah, these Star Frontier ships turned out really good. I'm really happy with them. But yeah, I think it's a good time to wrap this up and then go do myself a little showering so that I smell pretty. I got my Drakkar cologne. So anyway, peace and love, guys. Grandma, thank you for hanging out, even though I know you're gone, but still. Coco and everyone else who was here, Double D, thank you so much. Every time Double D visits, it feels like getting a visit from royalty and shit. So I love it. But anyway,